Memorial Day is often a time when society transitions. Memorial Day, normally we're getting ready for the summer and people are starting to think about summer vacations and summer activity. We have that on a moderated basis in New York, but it's also a time of transition for us. And we're transitioning to a new chapter on reopening, restarting the economy. This is all a situation that has never happened before, so this is a first case for all of us. And we're trying to learn as we go along, and we don't want to just reopen the economy. We want to have a really smart reopening. We want to watch those numbers as we go forward. And we want to reopen the economy to make it stronger than it ever was before. How do you learn from this? This is not about politics. This is about science, right? We're fighting a virus. The virus is not a Democratic virus. It's not a Republican virus. It's a virus. And viruses respond to science. And science is about facts and about numbers. And that's how we're doing it. We're doing it on the metrics. We're looking at the hospitalization rate. We're looking at the death rate. How many new people are coming in the door into hospitals? How many hospital beds do we have available? How many ICU beds do we have available? Do we have testing in place? And do we have tracing in place? Just take the politics out of it, right? Just do it on the facts and do it on the science. We're in Washington, and the parameter is what should states be doing and what should the federal government be doing. I understand that states are responsible for the reopening. That's been the position of the states. It's also been the position of the federal government. So the states are doing reopening. States are responsible for testing. States are responsible for tracing. States are responsible for the healthcare system. States are responsible for the enforcement of all the procedures around reopening. But at the same time, the federal government has a role to play, and the federal government has to do its part as we work our way through this crisis. And there cannot be a national recovery if the state and local governments are not funded. That is a fact. Washington is now debating their next bill that would aid in the reopening and the recovery. Prior bills have helped businesses, large businesses, small businesses, hotels, airlines, all sorts of business interests. That's great. But you also have state and local governments, and state governments do things like fund schools and fund hospitals. Do you really want to cut schools now? Do you really want to cut hospitals now? After what we've just gone through, when we're talking about a possible second wave, when we're talking about a fall with possible more cases, do you really think we should starve state governments and cut hospitals? Would that be smart? Do you really want to cut local governments right now? That's cutting police, that's cutting fire. Is now the time to savage essential services? And don't you realize that if you do this, if you cut state and local governments and you cause chaos on the state and local level, how does that help a nation striving to recover economically? The COVID states, the states that bore the brunt of the COVID virus, they're 1/3 of the national GDP. How can you tell 1/3 of the country to go to heck and then think you're going to see an economic rebound? Also, state governments, state economies, local economies, that's what the national economy is made of. What is the national economy but for a function of the states? There is no nation without the states.